Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 1, No Sanctuary. I'm your host, Dom, and with me is my zombie co-host, Clio. Oh, I forgot. There's no zombies on the show. It's walkers.
Her name's Martha.
Her name's what?
Her name's Martha.
Martha.
Yeah.
Below me is Heather.
Hi.
And diagonally across from me is John.
Where?
Where?
Certainly not.
Huh? What?
Right on top of you.
Hold on. I think I found it.
Oh. So, what's up, everyone?
Oh, you know, the usual.
The usual.
The usual.
What'd you guys think of the premiere?
Best
Loved it.
season opener I've ever had.
Amazing as always.
Better than the grocery store opener from last season, Cleo?
Oh my god.
Oh, come on. You didn't think I was going to forget to bring that up just because a whole year had
I completely forgot
passed.
that ever happened. Till right now. Thanks.
Cleo, go look on the website really quick on Facebook.
Cleo
The website?
hated that scene.
On the ASOTV.
Oh, okay.
Did.
Yeah, Cleo hated that scene last season with the action-packed grocery store helicopter scene.
The cheesy action movie scene?
Yeah.
That
So-
I hope never happens again.
Yeah, so I had to bring it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
But it's been 5 years already. Do you guys believe it? This show seems to fly by.
It definitely doesn't seem
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been flowing really well. I mean, but funny enough, like you look back at like season 1, it's like no one even looks the same anymore. It's just
No.
Oh, I know.
everyone was all scrawny and nubile. Now they're just horrible. So
Yeah.
Dom.
honestly, this is one of my favorite episodes.
That's
so
actually
far.
not the one that I was talking about before.
I know, but it's the closest one I could find.
Yeah, it is the closest
Look.
one.
So,
It
Oh,
didn't
but
say anything about Terminus,
so
but
for everybody that's watching that can't see what's going on, this is what we're looking at right here. It's a picture
Yeah.
of Carol going, "Look at the flowers." There was one that Cleo was trying to find earlier that had to deal with Terminus and said, "People of Terminus, look at the flowers." But
Oh, I
Close
haven't
enough.
given up. I'm still looking.
she's still looking. Yes. So.
Oh, God.
That's his cat. So Terminus really kind of stuck around pretty long this season, didn't it?
oh yeah.
Oh, totally.
It's
Yeah.
overstayed its welcome. I
Just
think
as
they
long
should've-
as we all expected it to.
I mean, we sat at the prison forever. We dragged on the farm for God knows how long, and I just really thought that Terminus was gonna be the focal point of this season. And like, did you guys feel that Terminus was like the entire season?
I don't know what I thought. I mean,
Toad?
I knew something had to happen soon because they were gonna get eaten. So it's not like they could just hang around in the, train car all season. Something had to happen soon. So
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a really boring season if we just had a bunch of dark train car shots.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I just figured that this probably would have lasted a little longer. Maybe some of them would have had come with some kind of bribes or whatever to integrate themselves into part of Terminus and kind of like systematically take the place down. And I figured that there was enough of a storyline with Carol and Tyrese and Judith and where what's the girl's name that's missing?
Beth.
Where Beth was. I figured there was enough that they could play around with that for a little while and like flash the Terminus here and there and drag it on a bit, but I didn't expect Terminus to explode in the first episode.
yeah, that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
So it just goes to say that 5 years later they can still shock and surprise us.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a very good sign that this show is not gonna, get boring.
I mean, they promised us that this season was going to be like the most dark and morbid one so far.
Yeah. Good.
I mean,
I
we
know.
already see signs of that. We saw the off camera rape scene at the end. We had the baby strangling scene, like just when
The near baby strangling scene.
well,
It didn't
yeah,
happen.
just when you thought it couldn't get much worse than last season. With Look at the Flowers, they've outdone themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to keep doing it too. I mean, we still have a baby in this world.
Yeah.
Its fate is
Yep.
very
Sooner or later, they're going to have to decide, are we going to cross that line
Yeah.
and kill this baby on this show?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Push that
They did
limit?
in the
Or are
comics.
we going to just keep lugging around the baby in a post-apocalyptic world where obviously formula, milk, that kind of stuff is impossible to find?
well, and that choice you're talking about is a writer's choice. Obviously, the characters are not going to leave this baby.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
It's from a writer's perspective.
Listen, you've never really had to deal with a baby pooping this much in a zombie apocalypse, okay?
Yeah, like, what are they wiping her ass with now at this point? Like, I know they're out of diapers.
They could just tie her to a tree and say, all right, you know what? Go ahead, kid.
Yeah, no, but yeah,
And she would pick up a knife and cut herself off and crawl over. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
It's normal baby.
can you imagine a baby zombie?
No, I don't want to imagine a baby zombie at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to imagine that. I mean, like, just the sight of Rick when he saw, you know, I mean, you don't, as much as hard it is it as hard as it is to believe that baby Judith even still around, you don't want to think about her getting killed off.
I mean, we saw, like, what was it, the first season, we had the little girl, you know, with Rick. We saw what children zombies were right off the bat.
Yeah.
But it's like infant. We definitely have not seen that yet.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't be very effective, that's for sure. I mean,
They can get into tight spaces.
They can lay there and cry and lure someone in and then bite them.
nah, they wouldn't cry. Their vocal cords are too compromised as zombies. I don't think they could. She would be basically the same. She would only worry about eating and just make some noises and wiggle her hands around.
Yeah, perfect.
Ah!
But as John had mentioned just a few moments ago, they did kill Judith off in the comics. So that does not mean that the show is going to do that. The show is definitely going in much different direction. It's using some of the same kind of plot points. Like it's as they put on The Talking Dead this week, they're going to weave in and out of the comics a lot more this season than they've done in the past. So they're continuing on with their own story, but they're touching on familiar areas from the comic, familiar characters and whatnot. So you really can't look at the comics for spoilers, so to speak, because they've changed it way too much.
They have.
Another thing that happened in the comics, which is like tragic to people, is Glenn's death, and because of that, I thought Glenn was gonna die in this episode, and like they stopped on him.
Shit. They teased so much in the beginning of that episode. It was terrible.
It wasn't funny. It was like, that was awful.
Such poor taste.
It was like you put like if they put Bob on the front of the line, I would have been like, all right, Bob's definitely dead. But like
No, not Bob backwards.
Bob backwards, I know, right?
You just started to like him.
But when Glenn was there, I was convinced. I was like, there's not a doubt in my mind Glenn is dead right now in the premiere.
Yeah, like I was so nervous.
When me and Steven were watching it, he was like, look who's first, it's Daryl. I was like, do you not see the Asian right next to him? Glenn is first. And he's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, if Daryl was first, it wouldn't have even been
devastating losing Glenn or losing Daryl.
Yeah.
If Daryl was first, a bat would have bounced off his head and killed the guy. I mean, they're not going to. Daryl is saint in this show. They're not going to.
Yeah, but what did you guys think of that whole slaughter scene with the trucks and?
That was
nasty.
Tough, son.
That was
That was insane.
They killed the penguin.
They did.
They killed
like a penguin.
The guy reprised his role from what was it, last season? You saw him and the wife. The wife got attacked by the walkers, and then he supposedly wandered off the terminus and now we found out what happened to him. He's now dead. But yeah, it was the same actor that plays the Penguin in the new TV series Gotham, which if you have not caught our podcast, go check that out. We got the first 3 episodes up, and we will be filming episode 4 this Wednesday.
You see that? It's a plug.
Oh.
It just happened.
Plug.
Oh, I just plugged this. Yeah, what did you guys think of the very beginning of this episode? With the now, and then later on at the end of the episode we saw the then. This is kind of like a new format for them.
I found it.
Look at the flowers. Go up just a little bit.
Huh?
Bring it up just a little bit. Just look at all the flowers. Nice.
She's got a gun in her hand. I think this is the funniest part.
That's awesome. So what'd you guys think of the now and then format?
It was a little weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like it confused me at first because I was like, wait, what are we thenning and nowing? Where are we, like, what's going on? And by the end it made a little more sense, but luckily I think they said that they're not really going to be using that too much anymore. That was just like a one-time thing to give Terminus its past and present, I guess. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely not the first.
That train car specifically.
Right. This is definitely not the first flashback we've seen. We've seen like that dream kind of flashback sequence with Michonne. It was like intertwined between like a dream and a flashback at the same time.
The only difference was that
Shane's flashbacks.
Yeah, the only difference was that this time they put big white now and then letters before.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did say this was going to kind of be a scarce thing, and it's probably localized to this one episode. But also keep in mind they haven't finished filming this season yet. So would you guys mind seeing it again if it made sense? Like was it?
Yeah, if it made sense.
If it's necessary.
It's not something I want a habit of.
Yeah,
Because
don't make a habit of it, but...
I mean, I think the only reason they had to do it was because if they didn't put, like, the text, I think it would have been too jarring.
Because you were going from the train car to the train car. Just
right.
I would not have understood that was in the past unless they flat out told you.
Or they just did, like, the whole, like, woo, 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 from, like, you know, the 90s cartoon.
They could have.
Back then?
But then you would have thought it was a dream sequence.
Right, yeah. I mean, there was really no more elegant way to do it than just to go, then...
What made it so confusing is the fact that we've never seen them do something like that before, so we were kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah, the confusing part was when it said now. Because we definitely understood what the then meant. You know, later, but when we saw now, it's like, okay, well, why is it saying now? Like, at first I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if that was just like part of the recap, that they're like showing you the recap, and then it's like now, and now you're here. Yeah. I thought that was localized to that, but then when I saw the then toward the end of the episode, I was like, oh, okay, so that was part of the episode. I don't know, it was a weird revelation, but yeah.
Yeah.
But then when we saw them all scrambling in the train car, right? They were all preparing for this big fight. They're making weapons out of their earrings, out of their belt buckles. They're using zippers as saws to create shards of wood. Shards of wood, is that even a thing?
Splinters.
Yeah, splinters.
Fierce. Michonne's double Sith weapon.
Yeah, her Darth Maul lightsaber.
Yeah. Never got the sword back.
No, but like the people of Terminus were ready. They were ready to one up them. Were you guys expecting that, like, at all? Like, it looked like Rick and them had the upper hand for a moment, and then the tear gas comes launching in.
Yeah, I was not ready for a thing of tear gas to come flying into the fucking train car.
They definitely weren't either.
Nope.
But how much experience do you think the people of Terminus have had with crowds like Rick before? Like, we know one incident, but is that one incident enough to, like, have them paranoid to throw tear gas into every train car that they open?
Well, I mean, I think after that, we're 2 years into this at least. 3, 4, 5 years into this zombie apocalypse. Whoever's left is really tough.
Well,
Or a baby.
and or a baby. They also had like most other things very well planned out and structured. So it wasn't it was surprising to see it, but like it's not too shocking that they would have had that contingency ready. I mean, they had they're keeping bullet counts. They're oh yeah, make sure you get his head and then you slit his throat real clean like so he falls down into the trough. So they're weirdly coordinated about their crazy shit. It was pretty freaky.
Yeah. It's like a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that was missing was the time clock.
Yeah.
You gotta punch in, punch
Who knows? They might even have one.
They probably do, to be honest. If not a physical time clock, they probably keep like record in that book. I mean, they're keeping track of how many shells that they used on their scouting run. So
yeah.
So I would not be surprised if they kept track of who's working and who's not. But Carol was just such a badass this episode.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think I could put into words how badass Carol was.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you singing Sweet Caroline down there, John?
No.
No.
Like,
So good.
Like this bitch just walks up and starts like, just you stay with the baby. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go single-handedly take out this entire group of people and not look back when I walk away. You know, like if anybody else were to be doing that, I'd been like, "You're an idiot. You're gonna die." Fucking Carol, no, goes and smears some dead walker blood on all over her body, tatters up her clothes, and marches down the fucking line with them like it's a normal fucking day.
Yeah, it was intense to say the least. What about the showdown between Carol and the barbecue girl? Was her name Mary?
Terminus Mary?
Yeah.
Mary.
Terminus Mary.
Terminus Mary.
It was beautiful.
It was great.
Because she's just like, I don't need you. I don't have the time. No, just.
Now point it at my head.
But do you think that Rick and the group would have escaped Terminus had it not been for Carol?
No.
No, probably not.
I'm definitely sure Glenn would be dead right now. That's a given.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bob might still be alive. He was the last one in that lineup.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the shots and the explosion is what provided the distraction for Rick to then loose his bonds and stab them in the neck. So. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he could have gotten those bonds off a little quicker. I don't.
No, he might have been able to do it, but he might not have been able to do it in time to save Glenn and Daryl.
Yeah,
right.
I definitely think Glenn would be gone. Daryl is kind of a 50-50 shot at this point. Glenn's 100%. He would be gone.
Yeah, no. Glenn is running on borrowed time.
Yeah.
He's had way too many close calls. I mean, I think he used up all his luck when he threw on the freaking SWAT team armor and marched his little ass out of the prison like he did. That was it.
Yeah,
you know?
all that riot gear on. Yeah.
that was it.
Fever.
Yeah, with a fever. Okay. I think he used up all of his good luck right then. That was it.
Yeah.
Like, trip one time, motherfucker. You will trip on a zombie.
Yeah. But another point that they brought up on The Talking Dead was Carol's reunion. Probably wouldn't have been as impactful had she had not saved them all. But
right.
So, what do you guys think would have happened?
That's not exactly what they said. They said she still would have been welcomed back, but it would have been awkward.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. Not as impactful. But how do you think it would have gone had she had not done this? Like, let's just say they stumbled on her in the woods now. Leaving Terminus, they saved themselves. How do you think this reunion would have went down?
Oh, hey, what's up? We should, join up.
Look.
Yes, I think that'd be
there's no more. I'm not gonna go killing anybody. I mean, there's nobody that's sick now, and let's just go. I got a peace offering. I got your baby back here.
Yeah, word.
You want to know what would have happened? Daryl would have started crying and hugged Carol. What else would have been like, sick, Carol's back. And Rick would have been like, dude, I'm sorry. And Carol would have been like, it's cool. I don't think it would have been as bad as everyone makes it sound.
No.
Like,
but
awkward isn't the word.
I
know the writers like, no, it would have been a little weird. No, I think they would have just been like, hey, neat.
Oh, it's you! Funny meeting you here.
Yeah, I think
Make it.
a lot's just happened where, oh God, you're alive. This feels nice. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like later on, they would have had a bit of conversation in the walk, like, hey, about that whole throwing you out thing. It might still happen later. They're still,
I'm sure it'll get touched on, and Carol will dismiss it. Yeah. It's not a big deal, whatever. So that's kind of the point she's at. She's willing to sweep it under the rug. But I paid really close attention to Daryl during his reunion with Carol, and there's kind of this thing that's been going around now during the summer break about Daryl potentially being gay. And it's something that the writers have said that they have not come to a firm decision on, but they're not ruling it out. Yeah. And I personally think that it's quite possible. I'm leaning more toward yes than no. Specifically because the relationship that him and Carol had last season almost borderlined on a romantic relationship. And if it was at that point in Daryl's mind, I think he would have went in for a kiss at that moment. If it was going to happen, that was the moment for it to happen.
Unless he's got a thing for Beth.
Which I think the actress said something to that effect.
I mean, I've been big on the whole Daryl Beth thing. I mean, I loved Beth personally. I don't know why. But, like, I'm big on that whole thing. So, I mean, they got really close, too, there last season. Yeah. I mean, really close. There was a moment there where they were right there, and then the walkers came.
I don't think that moment was that close.
It was pretty close.
I don't know. I didn't see Death and whatever. Death and Daryl. Death and Beryl. I didn't see. I didn't see it being that close either.
Anyone who watched this podcast last season knows who I ship. So
yeah,
I've talked that part to death. So.
But what do you guys think? Do you think they're leaning for Daryl's character to be gay?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's
because Daryl's always just been like, when it comes to that sort of stuff, real awkward. So it's like you can't really tell what's going on in his head. So
he's just a weird dude, and maybe he thought, maybe he wasn't thinking really. I mean, I don't think if it wasn't Carol, I don't think he would have cried that much or even ran like that to her, and like you said, he's an awkward fella, and he's not good at relationships quite as much as everybody else. So I don't think it means that he's gay, but he could be. We don't know, but still, that's not really an indication of it.
Before the apocalypse of walkers, all he had was his brother. That's all he had. And then all of a sudden, his brother turned on him and became a complete badass asshole. I mean, how is he really going to be able to trust somebody? He's had his brother his entire life, and then all of a sudden his brother turned on him. Trust is probably a really big problem.
We've seen him trust. He sees Rick as his brother. He trusts Carol.
That's 5 years worth of... I mean, in the very beginning, it wasn't like that.
No.
I mean, it takes him a long time just to build up the trust and the friendship aspect. It's going to take longer for him to even try to build up anything further than that with somebody.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we've seen Carol's flirted with him before. It's happened.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just been like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But we also know
I'm pretty sure that's exactly how that scene went.
His brother definitely would not have approved.
Yeah.
So it's something that he's had. If this is the case, it's something that he's had to have bottled up for a while now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if it is true, I really hope they don't make like a big deal out of it.
Right.
They just kind of let's just let it be something that's there. And
I mean,
you know.
at the same point, it would be really cool for gay people to have like a hero to look up to, because there really is nobody for them. Like, there's no outwardly gay superheroes or role models or whatever for them to look up to at this point.
I mean, there are, but
not as huge, not at the level that
Yeah.
Daryl is at.
no.
I mean, imagine how many girls would cry as soon as
Right.
that happens.
I don't think it's something that's going to be outwardly answered in the TV show
I mean, I've
for
never
that
gotten
reason.
that where they're like, "Oh, he's gay now. I'm so sad." It's like, he's still incredibly hot. Calm yourself. Who cares?
Yeah. So, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I don't particularly think they're going to answer it. But it's probably going to be one of those things that after the show is over, like the whole Dumbledore incident, you'll find out afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the Dumbledore incident is different because when Rowling was writing the books, she always thought Dumbledore was gay. It never came across in the story. The writers,
Right.
as you said their jury's out. They never thought about it. So
Right.
That could
That's-
also be their cop-out answer for not wanting to give an actual
I guess this is true, but
stance right now.
Yeah.
So,
Because they really legitimately probably don't know. They don't know what
that's
they're going to
true,
do.
too. So a lot of TV works is they end up writing something in, and then it just happens to fit later on, and then they pretend like that was the plan all along. So
Right.
totally, guys, totally.
yeah.
That's what we were going for. So.
But then we had that scene with Tyrese, right? And
Man of the hour.
yeah, right.
Yeah, about time he did something again.
He went out, he beat the crap out of
Saying.
all those zombies, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys at that
Barehanded.
point? Did you guys at that point think he was dead? He walked out there
Oh,
barehanded.
God. Not
No,
even for a second.
I was just waiting for him to have his shining moment where he came firing back into who he was instead of the little QQ he turned into for a little bit there.
Me and John were just like, "Oh yeah, he's just gonna murder those zombies with his bare hands. No big."
Yeah. He's just beat the shit out of everything.
He pulled a Carol. He's channeling Carol right now.
He's channeling himself. The thing,
He's channeling himself.
Tyrese doesn't like doing that stuff, and he had a run where he didn't have to, and he was fine with that, and he loved that. Being put in a position where he has to do it again, he's channeling himself. He's capable of it. He knows it. He just is scared of it. He doesn't want to be that person, but he has to.
Now,
My one problem with that scene, I didn't get to see him do it. And
Right?
God, I would have.
do we know that he killed that man, though?
No, we don't.
Oh, yeah, no. You don't.
Where he wouldn't let Carol in there,
It's
you know.
alluded to.
And
I
but-
think it's completely possible that he did just beat that man to death with his bare hands.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's hoping.
Many more punches to
I-
hurt.
I don't think he would let the man live after threatening Judith.
Yeah.
I don't. He snapped. You could see it in the look on his face, the way he destroyed those walkers.
Mhm.
He was done. You know,
He could have
I-
easily like broken the guy's arms off, like ripped them off of his body and left
him
him
with
there.
Yeah.
beat with his own arms.
Yeah. I mean,
Here, eat
Ripped out his own skull and beat him to death with it.
firm believer of this show, unless you see someone die, they're not
Right.
dead.
They're not
Right.
dead.
So, especially on this show. So, as far as I'm concerned, that guy is not dead right now.
I think he could
Not
be.
confirmed.
It could be 50-50. You know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
But that scene with Tyrese and Sasha and Rick, Carl, Judith, their whole reunion,
Mm-hmm.
that was like, we go from like all this tragedy, like, and we've dealt with it a lot over even the entire last season. There was no like redeeming moments of like hope, you know, like Terminus was our thing for hope, and then when we get there, it's just like it shattered everything. And then
Sorry, I knew it was bullshit. Like from the moment.
we all did.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah.
But there was a glint of hope in there somewhere.
For them, yes,
Me-
because they believed it.
Yeah. So that just really made this scene like a very, very powerful scene. But I don't see very more touching moments like this coming up in the rest of the season.
No.
I think
fact-
I think that's it for the season.
In fact, I thought everything was immediately going to go to shit. Like, I was like, this is such a nice, touching moment. What's gonna happen in these next few
Where's the
seconds?
next explosion?
Yeah.
Another explosion.
Yeah, but then Rick wanted to go back and finish off the rest of the people at Terminus. Everybody else was just like, no, we're out of there. Let it go.
No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
Just drop it. Let's go. And Clio was just talking in pre-show. I don't think we've seen the last of these termites.
Nope.
Why not? There's not many left, but Garth is not dead.
No,
He
he
got
got
shot in the
shot.
shoulder.
Yep, but he's not dead.
He's not dead. So
So how long?
definitely coming back.
How long before we see some of the termites come back?
An episode or
Very
two.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
1-2 episodes.
they could push it to the mid-season. I could see that, having the big mid-season cliffhanger be them coming back. But we'll see. Because they have a lot to go on for these first bunch of episodes. They have to, apparently deal with this priest and go to his church. They have to find Beth.
Priest?
Yeah, they're gonna stumble across a priest next episode.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a little crazy.
Yeah, it's I forget what the priest's name is, but it's a character from the comics. So
Father Presley.
What was it?
Father Presley.
Father Presley.
Mm-hmm.
Elvis is
Daddy.
yes. I forget what I was gonna say now.
You're welcome.
Yes, I threw myself off course with the Elvis reference.
Job.
What were we talking? Oh, the termite. Like they don't need a big bad villain this season, right? We've had the governor. We witnessed his redemption story. We witnessed him turning immediately after the redemption, like an instant later. It was like didn't even matter anymore.
The worst episodes they've ever.
But we kind of all know, those that have been following, the next big bad in the comics is this character Negan. I think it's a little soon to introduce him. Everybody was speculating that the guy at the very end of the episode was Negan, the guy in the ponytail, which is not the case. That's actually the guy that Glenn really protested to free out of the shipping container, and died like 3 seconds later.
Good fucking call, Glenn.
Yeah. It did sound like there was more than one person in there, though, so
It could have been.
I don't blame him.
There could have been more containers too.
Yeah, it's very true. But I think they'd be jumping the gun right now if they introduce Negan so soon. I think they can save him for season 6. I don't think he's a necessity for this season.
They already have like may not be as big of an antagonist as the governor, but definitely a threat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Negan is definitely, somebody said what, he makes the governor look like a puppy dog or something like that?
He does. Negan is like the bad guy of the comics right now.
Right. So I could see him coming in at the last episode. I see them introducing and them doing something major, and then that's your cliffhanger finale right there. But I don't think we're going to see him before that.
I hope not.
I mean, I really like, I thought Terminus was going to be this whole season. So even if it's not Terminus, if it's still the people of Terminus, the termites, as we call them, even if it's just dealing with them, hunting down Rick and looking for payback and a free meal or something, that I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, that's Chris Hardwick's term, or at least the internet's term for the Terminus people, is termites.
Yeah. Yep.
Like it.
It's funny.
Oh no, it's great.
Makes them a little less scary.
Indeed. Were you guys surprised we didn't lose anyone this episode?
Yes, very surprised.
Yeah, I was expecting it.
I mean, we had this whole fucking war at Terminus, and we didn't lose a single member of the party. Not even like some of the extra characters that they just threw in at the very end.
I mean, Rick just single-handedly murdered a bunch of guys. Just like stabbed one in the back, took his gun.
Yeah, and then you had Carol out on the sideline just screwing up everybody. You know, nobody really had to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think somebody probably would have died had Carol not been on the sidelines helping.
Yeah, and I seriously thought that Abraham was gonna get nabbed by that zombie because he was the last one to go over, and the zombie just came like this.
Yeah,
I
saw it.
I was waiting for like a bite or something.
Yeah.
Like you guys saw when Daryl grabbed Glenn and hid him. You know, like that's how close they were to getting chomped on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I've got to get his reflexes back or I'm going to slap him.
Who?
He's getting soft on me.
Who?
Glenn.
Why?
He's like, we got to save him, guys. Glenn, move. Just
Well, it's
let me.
because they have to, and I think that's something that Rick's gonna have now that Judith is back. But they have to hold on to being the good guys because if they're not, then what are they?
Yeah. And that's what
like
they were
the
trying.
governor. They're like the guys in Terminus.
Yeah.
They have to hold on to being good.
Yeah,
No,
I mean
it
that's what they were
Or
trying.
just trying.
I was more criticizing Glenn being really, really slow. That's all.
Well, they all just
Like-
almost get killed. So.
Well,
It's
Glenn's
like-
always kind of been a bit of a softie.
That's just
Yeah.
He's my fave.
I mean, in the comics, Glenn's well past dead. Maggie stayed at the big place. I don't remember what it's called, Andromedus or whatever.
Yep.
And is she knocked up at this point?
Oh, I don't even know.
I think Maggie was knocked up when she stayed behind.
I think
Kid.
she was.
Glenn's kid, so she
Yeah.
stayed behind. I mean, and none of that's happened. So
Yeah, and it very well may not happen.
yeah, or it might
So.
just happen weird, like in a different manner, because they do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also had Eugene.
Dorcas.
And pretty much reveal a lot of interesting details about the virus, or what we believe are real details.
I think he's lying.
Do you before I go into it, do you guys think he's telling the truth, or do you think he's lying?
Nope.
Listen, well, last season, I thought he was full of shit. I thought he was just crazy or lying, and I didn't know why. You know, but I still think he might be full of shit. But at least he's given some information.
Yeah.
I think he's full. I think he's
He
a
could
fucking
still be-
nerd. I think he's a fucking nerd who did nothing but sit at his computer all fucking day, so he learned these super technical terms for this bullshit because he was like some nerd, and now he's just blowing it out his asshole so that way everybody fucking protects him
Yeah, that's
because he's a big pussy.
Wow.
That's
Tell me how
totally-
you really feel.
I don't like Eugene. I mean, come on, look at Eugene. He hits on one woman the entire show, and she's the only fucking lesbian. I mean, come on.
The dude's got a mullet. Give him a break.
I love his character. His character is great, but I just am dreading him getting all the way to Washington and it being like the CDC moment. Like, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
We're all
So
screwed.
so he revealed that he was part of the Human Genome Project that was researching weaponized diseases and pathogenic microorganisms. But he also revealed that the plan was to wipe out the zombies, not to cure them. I was kind of under the impression that he was looking to reverse, like, to cure this, but when he said to reverse it, he meant to wipe out the zombies.
Yes.
Right.
Were you
wouldn't
guys
make any
under that
sense
impression that he was going to try to cure these people?
Well, I mean,
No.
he didn't say one way or another. He just said, you know, I can stop the zombies, basically, is what he was saying.
Right. I mean, everyone else was like, there's a cure, which doesn't make any goddamn sense. These are decomposed corpses. You can't...
Well,
I don't
Cure.
care what
But
the...
I think the thing is, it's attacking the things that make the zombies happen in the first place. So it will kill the zombies. It'll kill the walkers who are already
Right.
dead walking around, but it will cure the
Right.
people who are alive so that when they
And I'm
die,
not-
they turn into walkers.
I'm not arguing with that. I'm just
That's
saying
sort of a
is
cure.
that, like, it was impossible to... It's impossible to cure a zombie. Like, that wouldn't make any sense. If
I mean,
it did
maybe a
happen, I would
freshly turned
You
one?
know-
shit for the show.
But since we know that everyone in the world has the virus already in them, alive
Right.
or
It can,
dead.
Do you think there's going to be somebody out there that is immune to this? Kind of like recent games like The Last of Us have brought in like this. What was it? The lead character in The Last of Us is immune to the disease or whatever. The little girl. Do you think? Do you? Huh?
Even Left 4 Dead did that.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2. Do you think that's something that they're gonna introduce at some point? Is somebody gets bit and they don't get affected by it?
I really hope not. That has been so overdone lately.
And this isn't a normal zombie thing. Because normal zombie things you get bit by and then you get infected. But everyone's already infected. So what a zombie bite does is it doesn't infect you.
It
accelerates. Speeds up your death so that when you die you turn into a zombie.
Right.
Right. So what if there's somebody out there that's just not
it doesn't have it?
The only way that they would find out if they don't have it is if that person died and didn't come back as a zombie. Then they're fucking pointless.
Or if they were bit and it has no effect on them.
But
the bite doesn't infect you. The bite just kills you.
Yeah, the bite kills you.
What if they're immune to the bite is my point.
Yeah, but the bite doesn't necessarily do anything. Mean that they don't have the virus in them.
Right. When the walker bites, they're biting to kill and eat, not to pass on this. You know, the virus is already in all these people. That's why when they were in the prison getting sick and dying, there was no zombie in there, but they were still turning into walkers.
No, I understand that, but I mean, like, we had Herschel who was bit and had his leg amputated, and then he was fine because it was cut off before whatever spread to infect him to kill him faster.
And yet, if you remember, when they cut off his head, when the governor cut off his head, who walked by his head and his head looked up and did the little roar thing?
No, I'm not saying that he's immune to it. I'm saying, are we going to find somebody that's immune to this at some point?
No.
But in this, the way this virus works in this world, I don't think someone who is immune is very special. And I don't think it's not going to be as big of a deal as in universes where a bite will turn you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that being immune is necessarily going to matter that much.
Like in The Last of Us, you got bit, and in a couple of hours you were a zombie. In Walking Dead, you get bit, you amputate the body part, you're perfectly fine. But when you die, you still turn into the zombie because you're still sick.
Right. No, I'm not arguing.
But this is the thing. When the zombie bites someone and they don't amputate the limb, they get sick. They get physically ill.
And
become feverish, they die. But this is the thing. So their bite is diseased, but it's not the virus.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting. So the disease is meant to kill you, so then you turn into a zombie.
Yes.
So someone could be feasibly somehow immune to the zombie disease and not the virus. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. That's
I
basically what I was asking.
But I don't think
that's what I think
necessarily makes somebody that special, and it's not matter that much.
No, but I'm just saying that's what I think we were trying to get at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see somebody get bit and have everybody like in a frenzy and like exile this person, and then they're like still walking around like a month or two later after they stumble across them, and they're like, "What the hell?" And and then something happens and they end up being a zombie later. I don't know. The dynamic would be interesting. Funny. Yeah.
I think that would be a little complicated.
Yeah, that's
it's a little too involved. From a writing standpoint, I can't see it mattering.
Yeah, with the way that they set up the Walking Dead universe and how the virus and the zombie bites work separately on your body, it would be entirely too confusing to be able to follow off the bat like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then we had the then scene, which went back and showed that the lady that was talking to Carol, Terminus Mary, she actually was telling the truth, which kind of makes that a little more tragic. Yeah. That Terminus did start out as a sanctuary, and because of the wrong people coming to the sanctuary, they had to adapt to the situation around them, the world basically around them, and they when they took back Terminus, they were completely different people. Mm-hmm. We've kind of already seen this with Rick's group. they're very different than they were in the very beginning of the show, and that's natural. Like, you know, this mirror that they're showing here. But like Rick himself is extremely different. He's almost complete polar opposite of who he was in the first season. Do you see Rick spiraling his group in the kind of same direction that the people of Terminus were in, or do you think they're different than those people?
I don't think that they would let him.
No, especially not Glenn and Daryl.
Yeah, I don't see them letting Rick get that bad. Rick might start to spiral downwards. I mean, we saw how he reacted when Carl was almost inappropriately touched.
Yes.
You know,
I would have done much worse to him.
Oh,
we
yeah.
Even saw,
but still.
We even saw Rick at the shipping containers in this. He didn't want to go save them, but it was Glenn, you know, the voice of reason. Right. No, we have to save these. They went and they saved them. So,
and I could see Rick spiraling if Judith wasn't back in the picture. But Judith is back in the picture. And that's why Rick no longer wanted to go back to Terminus to kill everybody. He just wanted to go forward.
Yeah. Kids change you when you... I hate when people say that. Change everything. They change everything.
They change a lot of things. Not necessarily everything. But...
You know, it's like, you know what? I'm not going to murder them. Yeah. Yeah, I have a kid.
It's because of the kid. You know? If it wasn't for that kid, my hands would be around your throat right now. You know?
For that kid, I would have gone to college. What?
I can only imagine if the kid gets the chance to grow up in this world. I can only imagine what this kid's gonna be like at like 4 years old.
Yeah,
gunslinging maniac. It's gonna be great.
And it's interesting because this season we didn't have like a big time jump. This is literally days after. Do you think we're gonna get a time jump at some point this episode, like this season?
I think maybe mid-season.
Yeah,
but not then. No, we're not going.
So I did see some pictures going around of Andrew Lincoln in a beard, full beard.
Oh, that's right. It's all about the beard this season.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then it's gone. It was gone. He's shaved it off. He had a full beard, and then it was poof gone. And everybody was like, Andrew, why you shave beard? And he goes, because I died. Like, literally, he told everybody, because I died on the show. They don't need it anymore. So everybody's in a frenzy right now because he won't tell them.
Don't joke, because I was adamant supporter of that theory.
I'm not the one joking. He seriously has said this. Like,
no, I know.
He's like, they didn't need it no more. I got killed.
No, I know. Dom will attest to this. I have said that I think Rick is going to die.
Yeah.
Well, they said that this season, you know, it's not a matter of who's too popular to kill off. It's more of who's seasoned and had the experience to die.
Right.
Basically, you know, who's earned their death this season.
Yeah. And I could see a time jump after this episode, to be completely honest, because
I can too.
For all we know, they could have filmed this particular episode with last year's batch of episodes. To make sure that, like, Carl didn't age or anything like that, because Carl didn't look any older than he did last season. And a year has gone by, and usually child actors at that point age relatively fast.
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, the kid Henry in Once Upon a Time, like, he's aged phenomenally.
His
and they've had
voice still cracks. Leave him alone.
But they've had to change the story. They've had to change the story and adapt it from there. Like, they've had to add in, like, missing time, like, years they've added on and to carry the story. For this, there's been a time jump.
The whole age thing doesn't faze me.
No, I'm saying for this, there's no time jump, and Carl still looks the same age. So either he didn't age this year, or...
You just said no.
Or they filmed it earlier.
Just be the fan now. That seems to be... Because, at least this episode, you know, because they had that set built, I guess, so they could have just been like, yeah, you know what, guys, we're here. I mean, that's totally possible.
I mean, I guess we'll see next episode if there's a time jump or not. Yeah. Did you guys happen to stay for the credits and catch the very first post-credit scene?
Yes.
They're taking a page out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe here and adding a post-credit scene.
Yep.
Would you guys think of just the fact that a post-credit scene exists?
I guess it didn't
I
phase
now
me
have
because
to
I'm
pay more
used to it because I'm a big Marvel fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think there's a trend they're going to continue on now, or was this a one-time deal?
Maybe if they save it for very important things like this.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
If
yeah,
they do it every
yeah.
episode, it's not gonna be.
It's gonna get lame.
Yeah. So in this post-credit scene, we see Morgan finally, fan favorite, returns. He's only been in 2 episodes previously, but I recognized him instantly, and
Chris.
I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Yep.
I my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm so
"What makes
happy.
him so special?" After I've only been in for 2 seasons or 2 episodes, 2 seasons, two entire episodes.
Yeah.
He was in what, the very first episode,
Very first.
and then what episode, or season 3? I think it was season 2, 3.
303.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, it was after the farm. It was between
Yeah.
the farm and the prison.
And it was so it had to be 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his story is just one that people connect with. He had a kid, lost it, you know.
Yeah.
He's just such a likable character. When he was going
And
crazy. Like last time we saw him, he wasn't doing very well. I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Because he was holed up in there, fighting walkers all on his own.
Apparently he's
He's
not
good at it though.
But he started following. He saw the sign that Rick left that said no sanctuary or all that, whatever. So it looked like he was coming back from Terminus at that point.
Well, he could have been going to Terminus.
And been
So-
just close enough to see what happened, and
But
that's
then
why
didn't cross paths with Rick and the group on the way. That's a little weird.
it's a giant forest. Maybe he
Yeah.
came in on the other side, and they were already skedaddling this way when he came around. And
Yeah, if he came at the tail end of it, he might have been far enough away. Or he was drawn by the explosion, didn't even see the signs.
That's
Right.
true
Right.
too. That's true.
He just saw.
But I think the
boom,
real
like, oh.
question is, who's leaving those X marks?
Yeah.
Those big X circle symbols.
Because
they're-
I don't it doesn't make sense to me why Rick and the gang would be leaving a symbol.
well, they didn't. They followed the railroad track down. They didn't cut off through the woods.
They did then cut off through the woods.
Oh, did
Yeah,
they?
they cut into the.
Yeah, they cut into the woods.
Yeah,
Well, I thought it.
Yeah. That's
How far off did they cut into the woods? Was it immediately after the sign? I thought it was.
Immediately, right after the sign.
yeah,
Mhm.
they
Because I
turned
think
right
they
into
crossed from one side, from the forest on one side. Rick rode on the thing, and then they went forest on the other side.
Yeah.
So was that the same area those symbols are in, or
I think so.
Pretty. I would think.
But I
yeah,
don't see
they
why
have
Rick
to.
would be
Huh?
leaving them. It doesn't make
an hour.
sense.
So this is the thing. So remember, Abraham was talking to.
Broccoli?
I can't think of her name.
Yeah, the lady.
Not Tara. He
The-
said something to. Yeah. He said something to the effect of like, oh, we'll talk to him about it later. I mean, maybe it was like, hey, you think it'd be cool if we leave these X's here? Oh, I don't know. We'll ask Rick.
Yeah, actually,
I don't
my
know.
brain thought of that as soon as you started saying it. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Love you too,
I
Mom.
don't know, the fact that they left that car at the house though
Nobody saw that.
was a little weird.
Heard it.
Shh. Sorry.
You know, the
Um,
car that they left at the house where they reunited at.
Yeah.
The guy goes, "Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, take the car, get out of here, drive away." Why? Like these guys are scavengers. They just completely walked by the car. They didn't look for supplies in it. They didn't look for
Yeah.
anything. They didn't take the car. These guys used to ride around in vehicles all day long.
Yeah, but it's one vehicle. Not everyone there can fit. They might have rifled through it for supplies, but they cut away before we saw them walk. You know, we cut back to we cut from them there to them walking or something like
You'd
that.
still think that they'd take the car and use it to like scout ahead or something.
Nah.
A scouting
point, I
car. I
think
mean,
they're-
if they have no foreseeable way of getting gas in the future, taking a car through the woods is not.
They could go fill up at Terminus.
That and a car makes noise.
But they're walking through the woods. You can't take a car with you through the woods.
and they don't want to split the group to have 4 in the car, 5 walk.
Right.
They want to
Put
stay
everybody,
together.
pack them all in the trunk. Daryl and Beth were all cozy in there last season. Anyway,
Well, true.
next episode, episode 2 is called Strangers. Very in-depth synopsis here. Rick leads a risky mission for a possible small reward when the supplies run low.
Your favorite kind of synopsis.
Yeah, one sentence. They're very vague.
Who knows
They're
what-
always very vague.
Vague. Well, you have to. Spoilers.
Yep. So what kind of a risky mission is this going to be? Do you think they're going to go back to the helicopter supermarket?
God, I hope not.
Clio was like all done with that. I think I may have mentioned it, the finale podcast.
Yeah.
I think I did bring it up to like compare.
Yeah, because you were like, "What's the least favorite part about this season?"
Yeah. So you thought I was all done with it then, but no, it's back to haunt you.
Never goes away. I keep saying things in front of you.
You can't tell him anything. It's just like lacrosse sticks.
This is true. If you don't catch that reference, watch our Pretty Little Liars podcast.
Any of them.
do you guys have anything else you'd like to discuss for this episode?
More Carol.
Bring back Beth? I want to know where Beth is. I mean, I kind of know where she is, but I kind of don't know. Like we got a little bit of a teaser of where she is. If you watched, what was it? I think it was Saturday night. It was either Friday or Saturday night. If you watched the marathon, they did like a special, like 5-minute long preview to the whole season 5.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And they had a part in there kind of showing that Beth is alive. She is somewhere. She's getting slapped by a pistol, and she's with some woman, but she is alive.
Yep. She's definitely
yeah,
alive.
no, that's confirmed that she's alive. But
Yeah.
she got, actually, now I'm only just thinking about this now. She got taken in a car that had a cross on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to
to
see a priest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the symbols that Morgan is following is a cross in a circle.
Well, it's an X.
Oh, is it an X?
Nice.
Is it sideways?
Pretty sure
That's
it's
an
an
act.
X. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, turn an
It's
X on its
Slenderman.
side though, and what do you have? You have a cross.
Yeah, but the symbol on the tree is an X. It's not like you can turn the tree on its side and it's a cross.
Right.
No, guys, it's Slenderman. You're all stupid.
I know I saw those X's with the circles and I was like, is Slenderman in these ones? Is
He could be.
in the trees?
He's like,
Could be.
Come on,
Slenderman could
Logan.
be a zombie now.
come
Yeah.
play.
Indeed. So I think that about wraps things up.
Whoa!
Clio, where can people find you?
People can find me at Cleomoto all over the internet. And if you go follow me on Pinterest, I almost have 100 followers and I'm going to do a giveaway. So
Ooh,
go do that.
get in there, get that done. Heather, where can people find you?
My unused Twitter account, OLARIS_RHEA.
Make sure not to follow her because she doesn't use it.
I don't. I will, next week, I will have somewhere people can actually find me.
Yeah, okay.
I will. I've been saying I would do this for months now, but I will do it. I will find something.
John, where can the people find you?
You can follow me at no more on the Twitter, where I will be tweeting dick pics.
God,
Woo!
I'm
It's just pictures of guys
unsubscribing from you now. I'm unsubscribing. That's
Dick Clark.
that's
Dick
the
Grayson.
straw right there.
You have to do that now, though.
Yeah, you have to. You
You
have to go
can't just
tweet
leave
a
that
bunch of.
hanging. You have to
Dick-
do
I was
Now.
gonna. I was gonna.
Thumbs done.
You can
He's like,
find me crawling back to Terminus down below at Phenomedon, PHENOMEDOM. You can find all of us and more on Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, G+, and right here on YouTube /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Till next week. Catch you guys later.
Bye.
"Ah." I need to find my little figure puppet now of the zombie. I have one somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
I ate it.
You probably did, because you're a fatty.
It's so huge.